Primordian is an early access adventure slasher. It's available for the Vive and Rift for about $20 US. Here's my review of it in its current state as of August 2018. First up is the story. This big bugger wants you to kill things for vague revengey reasons, and that's more or less the whole of it. He accounts for most of the voice work in the game, which is quite well performed in my opinion.
To take back everything they stole from us. Go now.
Now for gameplay and of course combat, which is a confusing mess of blinking indicators, random acts of slow-mo, and enemies pouncing 30 meters in front of you in a drawn-out dance of no you go first. While ranged combat still manages to work, melee combat suffers dearly, with blocking lacking clear cues, and failing finesse I basically just reverted to swinging my sword until limbs decided to fall off. As for difficulty, the game doesn't offer any settings, and though I did find the game very challenging at times, this was mainly due to what I see as deficiencies in game design as opposed to player ability. That brings us to weapons, which I'll do my best to name. You have your fists, swords, which can be hit against the ground for bonus damage when that decides to work, fruit grenades, rapid fire pistols, crossbows that slow-mo, blade launchers, grenade launchers, and these crazy skull sticks. A great variety overall. Let's now talk enemy, which are impressively diverse and include sword swingers, armor optional, monkeys with exploding poop, bowmen, space turkeys, Batman, sword and shielders, these things which I've found no way to kill, this boss who has no time for ranged projectiles, this boss who once de-shielded can be one-hitted, and this boss who boasts an endless supply of fiery deathbirds and who I've yet to defeat. Next up is Locomotion, which is either head or hand directed smooth, coupled with smooth or incremental rotation. No teleportation or comfort options. On to music, which is employed like almost everything else in this game, without subtlety, to the point where I personally would have preferred silence had there been the option. As for sounds, the world is full of them. There's an art to making a world feel like it exists beyond the player, and while Primordial isn't there, it definitely has its moments. That brings us to graphics, which are of the best I've seen in VR. At times the lighting can make things a bit uncomfortable to make out, but otherwise, amazing. As for settings, there were none that I could find, which I mean literally, as rather than having a menu screen, options exist as physical locations throughout the game's labyrinth of a lobby. Kinda neat, but kind of inefficient. Performance-wise, that pretty face does come with a cost, with a fair amount of dropped frames on my 1070. Now for the verdict. It's gorgeous and has a wealth of potential, but falls very short with its gameplay. As an early access title, it's certainly worth watching, but not worth picking up just yet in my opinion.